Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Astro Love podcast. I am Astro Queen.
And I'm Angel Love.
And today is yet another episode. I think it's episode 8.
Okay.
We've made it to episode 8.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, take my word. Or don't, I don't know. But yeah, so it's kind of exciting that we're still here, still plowing through with our topics and astrology and, divination. But just a quick kind of heads up to those who are listening for the first time. This is a podcast about astrology and transpersonal psychology and just having discussions about what's going on in the heavens, how we can relate that back to the earth that we're living in and the experiences that we're having. And it offers lots of tips and tools about how to function and navigate. I don't know, in a life that we call, in a world that we call crazy at times. That can be described as crazy or just unpredictable and wild. And yeah, and it's a platform also for healing and just sharing our experiences, our personal experiences and observations as well of what's going on in the world. Did that make any sense?
It did. It made plenty sense to me as I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yay! Okay. So Angel Love and I will be talking about a few things today. This is the cosmic news, so we're going to focus a lot about what's going on in the heavens, but also bring it back to what's going on within the the celebrity world, because sometimes it's quite good to relate it to human beings, people that we are familiar with, even if it is at the capacity of the celebrity world. So we're going to talk about, for example, Mercury retrograde and the impact it's had on some people in the world. Autumn equinox, touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then some current transits. And then other important events for October.
Yes, that'll be good. Yeah.
Okay, so shall we start off with Mercury retrogrades? It's over.
It's over. It's over. Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for the Mercury retrograde, but now it's over. The shadow phase is over. We can breathe. We can start buying. We buy what we want. But although the Venus retrograde ends on the 10th. So we've got like another 9 days. But, yeah. Oh, it's the first of the month as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Pinch
happy
punch.
first of the month. Yeah, pinch punch. What is it? Pinch punch.
First day of the month.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's the 1st of October. The weather is beautiful.
It is.
It makes all the difference. So, yeah.
That just cracked me up, though. The way we were both like, that it's over. Retrograde is over.
Yeah. So.
Because
when it's a retrograde, I always need to buy something electrical.
I know.
It's like,
it's so weird how that happens.
Yeah, and I usually find out that I need to buy something and it's a shadow phase, and I think, nah,
yeah,
I'm not going to risk it. I don't want to be having to send things back so I just have to spend like a good month not having what I want. So now that it's over,
that's it.
I can now purchase.
You can proceed. Goods. Yeah. So it ended yesterday, isn't it? 30th. And it's now Mercury is completely direct in Virgo. I think, can I just say, for me, I have to be honest, it wasn't that bad.
No.
It wasn't that bad. Was it?
No. What happened? No, it wasn't that bad for me, but I honoured the retrograde.
Yeah, maybe we're just getting good at it. Yeah. We're getting good at observing and just
how to navigate that energy. So yeah.
And you were patient with not.
Well, that's the thing.
Buying.
I think exactly. You need to have patience and not buy if you can. I know it doesn't always work that way, but
but you were then you were forced to kind of reflect and utilize your current situation to make whatever you needed work for you, right?
Exactly.
And that's the retrograde.
And if I had to buy something during the retrograde, probably try and buy it on a Wednesday. Yeah. And I would take out insurance.
Oh yeah, snap. That's a good tip. That's so true. Our next Mercury retrograde will be, I think it's in December, so it'll tap into the Sagittarius and Capricorn energy, but we'll talk about that another time.
That'll soon come.
Yeah, before we know it. But
exactly.
Yeah, but for me, it was actually okay, and I'm just trying to think, like, because it's in my third, it was going through my third house, and I did find myself going back and revisiting some places. I know it's a bit random, but the other day I was in Chinatown. I haven't been in Chinatown for years. I've been Chinatown for years, and I had some Korean food, and that was really cool. What else? Yeah, but like you, I think I've learned how to navigate it a lot better, and like when I needed to send important emails or share information, like I waited for a more auspicious time, or I just made sure the information,
double checking everything, double checking that you've done it correct.
Yeah. So I kind of enjoyed it. I did observe my partner have returning clients, like music clients, come back, and that was cool. And they came back. Interestingly, they one of them was new from the last retrograde. In February, they'd done a piece of music together, and then they kind of like, I don't know, went their separate ways, and then this client came back this retrograde. So it was quite an interesting observation. Anyway, so what have you got in terms of linking that with anybody?
Well,
what's the news?
So with my news is a little bit like weird.
Why?
But good. I'll tell you as we go along. So it just came to me, these stories randomly, and when I checked them, they all had a connection either to the retrograde, to Gemini or Virgo, which is really like, and these are just random stories from around the world. That came to me. So I'll just start off. The first one, I just kind of took the stories that came to me. So the first one is Chris Kaba. So he was shot by a police officer.
When?
On the 5th of September 2022. So it's back in the news because the police officer is being charged with manslaughter. I believe they went on strike.
Can you just remind me of that story? So what happened?
He was in his car. He's being followed. They didn't acknowledge that the police officers. He's being followed. I think he was in someone else's car. But they shot at him. He was unarmed.
This is the US.
Yeah, and then no, in England.
England. They shot at him.
And I think they shot him in the head. So he died.
Okay.
So it's still under investigation, but it just come out that the police officer's been charged with manslaughter. So the armed police officers, the ones that have the gun, believe they went on strike. And they said like the army has to come in, but I'm not sure. But the story, like too deep. Haven't gone into story too great deep. But Chris Kaba, he was killed. It was the retrograde in the shadow phase on the 9th. So the retrograde started on the 9th of September. So obviously when he was shot, it was the 5th.
Yeah.
So it was
pre-shadow.
Pre-shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's in the pre-shadow phase. He was born on the 23rd of July 1999, and Mercury was in retrograde in Leo.
Okay.
So and the retrograde was from the July the 12th to August the 6th. That retrograde. So that was the first story.
So it's come back around and they reinvestigate, or it's almost like digging.
The retrograde has a theme for him. It's the it's just around. I've kind of noticed that it brings something back to people, something. So then the second person was Tupac.
Yeah, I've been hearing stuff.
Yeah, so his alleged murderer, Keith D, has been charged after 27 years. So Tupac is Gemini. He was shot and died during a Mercury retrograde in Virgo. He was born on the 16th of June, so he's a Gemini, born on a Wednesday. He has Virgo ascendant with Pluto in the first house, and Venus, Sun, Mercury, MC, and part of Fortune is in Gemini. So that was his kind of connection with Mercury and the retrograde, and this news coming out now during the retrograde as well.
And it's interesting because over the years since his death, we've never really stopped talking about his death.
No, he's literally documentaries,
everything. It's constant.
It's been a big mystery.
Yeah.
But I think people knew.
Yeah.
Maybe they just couldn't prove it.
Yeah.
Someone must have known. They're just not saying.
Yeah.
So that was, I think that's just, it's been 27 years.
And his death keeps coming back. Interesting.
Keeps coming up. Him and Biggie. So he died on 13th of September during the Mercury retrograde. So he shot on the 7th of September, but died on the 13th of.
So he died a good few days later.
Yeah, during the Mercury retrograde, and a day after the new moon. So the new moon was on the 12th, and he died on the 13th.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Another story quickly. Miss Zimbabwe controversy. So Zimbabwe is ruled by Mercury, Virgo Sun, and so what happened was they crowned. So they haven't been doing Miss Zimbabwe for 22 years. They've just come back, and the woman who was crowned doesn't look like a Zimbabwean.
No.
So she's got blonde hair. She's a white lady. So they've made a big uproar. How could she? But apparently she was like the best speaker. That had the best walk.
Eloquent.
Yeah, but the people think, well, she doesn't represent us.
No.
So I guess.
Oh, this is tough.
The retrograde going back like over people thinking about. How does this work?
Yeah.
Like, so she's going to be entered into Miss. Is it Miss Universe?
Yeah.
Miss World, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So she will be entering that, but that was the whole.
As Miss Zimbabwe.
Yeah. So she'll be representing Zimbabwe in the Miss World competition. So they're like.
But she doesn't though. I mean, this is probably my opinion, but she doesn't represent.
No,
she represents the Western world.
Yeah.
If we talk about Zimbabwe, I instantly think of obviously beautiful black women.
Yeah.
Curvy, not that Caucasians aren't, but I'm just saying, like, you know, like, there's a picture in my mind that's just gonna baffle the whole world. But maybe this is where we're heading anyways.
Exactly. And we have to
no
think,
boundaries.
Yeah, someone who's melanated, maybe born and bred in Ireland, and she wants to represent Ireland, and Irish people are like, well, this is Irish people look like this.
Yeah.
So there's some sort of remix, isn't it?
This is interesting.
It's very interesting. It's quite like. Yeah, how, and for the people I can understand because they want to be represented around the world.
Yeah.
They want their people to be represented. So I totally understand. I can understand both point of views as well. Like,
yeah, same. Because if she's born and bred in Zimbabwe, it's her choice whether she wants to enter this. Like, otherwise, what can she do if she wants to be a pageant girl or whatever? Like, that's her avenue. She's got no other pathway.
Yeah. So I mean.
Oh no!
She entered, and obviously the people that run the competition thought as well, and they chose that she was the best out of all the women that were there. So that's that.
There's a certain standard they've got to meet, isn't it?
Yeah. So apparently she probably maybe she had the most effort. Yeah. And knew, what she was doing.
I want to see what she looks like.
Yeah, you get a picture. Her name's something Brooke, something
Brooke. Okay.
Yeah, I did have her name, but I guess I didn't write it down. Another story quickly. Rupert Murdock, Pisces. He owns Fox Corp and News Corp, and he was big in the UK because he owned the News of the World and the Sun. And back in the day, they used to run riot. I mean, these tabloid papers are just a nuisance and really serious in terms of when they're reporting their stories. They still are, but when Rupert Murdock in his heyday, I think the 90s, they were just savage.
Yeah.
They were savage. So he announced his retirement, and his son, Lachlan, who's born in Virgo, he is now born on a Wednesday. He's born 8th September, so he's a Virgo. He is going to rule. He's now taken over. Okay. So that was that with him.
Interesting.
Yeah. There was a baby girl born with 14 fingers and 12 toes in India. And so altogether she had 26 fingers. She's born on the 16th of September during the retrograde.
And Mercury rules like the extremities, right?
Yeah.
Arms. Does he rule legs, feet? I feel like that's more.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, so like I know if you got extra digit.
Yeah.
Like so, if you got 6 on your hands,
you've fingers.
You've come into this world to teach. Like there's an urgency to teach something.
Oh.
So if there's double, because this is your baby finger is the Mercury finger, right?
Yeah.
So if there's double, maybe it's a double urgency or something. But they've actually hailed her as an incarnation of their local Hindu goddess.
Oh, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So they're seeing her as a positive energy.
Yes, but the country that she's in is in India. It's Gemini ascendant, Mercury and Venus in Leo. So
Mercury and Venus in Leo, so she's gonna be known.
No, India. India.
Oh, India.
Yeah, it's Gemini ascendant, the actual country.
Oh, it's Gemini ascendant. Yeah, that makes sense.
Putting that connection, because all these stories just came out to me. I'm like, why are these stories coming to me? This is crazy. A woman was sentenced to 2 years in prison for eating pork in Indonesia. So Leo, Sun, but Virgo ascendant and Virgo in Mercury. Because I just looked at all these stories. I'm like, why are these stories coming to me for?
Yeah.
So she was jailed for 2 years for eating pork, and I think she said some Arabic words before she ate it. And
she disrespected Islam.
I think she was blessing it. I don't know, but it was looked at as a disrespect.
Yeah, that's supposed to be haram. They call it haram.
Yeah.
Like alcohol, you're not supposed to bless, and pork, you're not supposed to bless.
Well, she did.
So she disrespected the nation.
She got 2 years for that.
That's deep, though.
That's deep. 2 years for just eating a piece of meat. So another story came to me. So the Nigerian Afrobeats singer Mohbad, he was born on the 8th of June 1996. He's a Gemini. He passed away under unusual circumstances. They think that his ex manager did it. Because in 2022 he left the management company, and apparently the fans believe that this ex-manager did it. The manager saying he had mental health problems. I don't know.
Okay.
But so he was buried. He died on the 12th. He was buried on the 13th
of September.
His wife and his son was not present. And
what?
Then
they weren't at the funeral?
No. And so the body was exhumed, because everyone said it's like under strange circumstances, and they're doing an autopsy.
So they dug up the body again.
They dug up the body. I mean, that's quick though.
Wow.
Died on the 12th and buried on the 13th. You don't go and
that's that suspect.
You don't get examined. He's 27. No
Especially,
illnesses.
Yeah, if it's under they don't know why he died.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're gonna want to explore that.
That's
right?
what you think, right?
Oh, so the fans.
Yeah, I think there was so much uproar that they. I don't know what the wife was saying or the other family was saying. He was born in the Mercury shadow phase in Taurus. So Mercury's in Taurus, is in the shadow phase. Yes. And then go on.
I was going to say that's how far Mercury retrogrades can go, though, to the point where a body needs to be redug.
Well, they didn't do the proper paperwork. They didn't sign off everything.
That's insane.
People had questions and they couldn't answer it. So now the government or whoever decided dig the body up. But it's weird that the family didn't think what's going on. Or
maybe that's why the wife and the son didn't go, because they didn't feel like it was right. But then you'd want to be there either way, wouldn't you?
I don't know. It's a funny situation.
Yeah.
And when I was going over this work, so I wanted to check that all my stuff was correct. A story just popped out to me. I was actually Googling Mohad, and I don't know why this guy came up, but his name's Mohamed Silla, better known by his stage name as MHD. He's a French rapper from Paris who is known for blending trap music with like music of West African nature. And he was sentenced on the 10th of September for he's born on the 10th of September 1994. He was sentenced to 12 years for killing a 23-year-old victim called Loic K. So it's Loick.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was that with that story in terms of, I don't know why this story popped up to me.
Maybe because he's a
Virgo. Yeah, it could be.
But what's the retrograde energy for that? I'm trying to think.
The retrograde then was on the 5th of July, I believe it started. No. When was he killed? So he was killed... Yeah, I think he was killed on the 5th of July. But the retrograde started on July the 25th. So it's kind of like it's like 5 days. You put 14 days before the retrograde, right? it's a bit out, but it was coming. I don't know what to say. It was out of it, but that was the retrograde, July 25th, and he was killed on the 5th of July. But I don't know why this story just...
Maybe they're going to keep revisit it, or they will revisit the sentence or whatever.
Because he was sentenced. Maybe they might find out it's not...
Yeah.
I don't know.
How long did he get? 12 years?
12 years. And there were other people that were involved, and they got sentenced as well. But I just thought that was weird that story came out with that. And yeah, that was like my Mercury retrograde.
You went to work on this one.
I did. Well, I felt like some of these stories need to get mentioned.
No, it's true.
Or they wanted to be mentioned in this podcast, because they came to me and I thought, well, let me just say them and whatever.
Very interesting, because you can see the links with Mercury.
Exactly. There's all Mercury, and I didn't just go out and think, oh my god, I'm going to say this story, because I just said, oh, this story looks good. And when I checked on them, they were Mercury related.
And you're ruled by Mercury.
Yeah. So they just came out to
Virgo.
me. They just came out to me. So I thought, whoa.
Well, very interesting. Also, Russel Brand's been all over the place, hasn't he?
Oh my gosh.
And he's a Gemini.
This story has me like, what's going on?
I know. I've always liked him, I've always really respected the way he articulates himself, and he's got so much information, and he's quite controversial in the way he approaches things, but people love him. Plus he's a comedian, he's an actor, multi kind of talented guy. Was married to what's her name
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. And I don't know, we've known him for years, and he's British. But what I did check his birth chart, and if the time is right, astrologers seem to be using this chart. He's got he's a Gemini, and he's got Virgo rising. Okay. So Mercury's all going through that first house. Yeah. So that's reassessing the way that we view him. Obviously, it's reassessing his persona, how he presents himself to the world. Like we are reevaluating our view of of him as a celebrity, as an entity.
It's Mercury retrograde, and he's Virgo is his ascendant, as you said. So that's the face that we see him, and the retrograde is changing that face that we think of him. Exactly. It's going back over it and saying no, what you see is not actually, that's not true. So we have to, I guess he's being re-examined now, isn't he? He's being
re-examined. His Mercury retrograde is also squaring his 10th house, which the 10th house being the house of career and public standing and whatnot. And he's got the sun there. He's got Mercury there as well. So all of that is being re-evaluated. But he's having some major transits though. He's got Pluto, the planet of transformation and destruction. It's opposing his Venus, so there he's having Venus we know is the female entity, female archetype, and he's now having to resolve underlying conflict that maybe he had back then. It's come back to bite him in the arse in some way, shape or form. We don't know. Obviously he knows, but he's having to work on conflict and relationships, whether that's at home or his personal life. But Pluto ain't no joke.
Listen,
Pluto ain't no joke,
and he's like, he's kind of scary, because he allows you to do your thing. He allows you to do everything,
Yeah, he does. And
then one day you think, you've probably forgotten. I mean, not saying you've forgotten what you did, but you're just going along your business, and it just pops up, and you're like, what's going on?
It comes back in some way, shape or form. Because
it's gonna transform you.
It's gonna
Pluto likes to transform. So it's gonna use whatever you've done to kind of help transform you.
Yeah, exactly. So people are in his life right now creating challenges, and he's probably feeling very isolated or like rejected, because Pluto will have that on you. Pluto makes you feel like you need to kind of remove yourself, and people may shun you as a result. You might feel isolated in some way or rejected. But interestingly, because Pluto also is opposing Venus also rules money, Pluto rules transformation, his YouTube have demonetized his channel. So obviously that's going to affect his money. So he's having to reorientate how he makes his money. So I read today that he's now on Rumble. and he's seeking his fans to basically pay for his subscription. I think it's £49 a year, so he can obviously meet his financial goals and still remain, you know, above water. But I thought that was really interesting with the Pluto opposing his Venus. But anyways, he's having that major transit, and Pluto, you know, when Pluto hits any major planet in your chart, like the sun or the moon or Venus or whatever, Mercury, it's all about breaking down and experiencing destruction in some way, but that, like you said, paving the way for like rebuilding and rebirthing. But it's not easy, and I speak so passionately because Pluto has been on my ascendant for what feels like years now. So I feel like I could talk about Pluto in a way that is quite confident, because I've been there, man. He breaks you down. It's very deeply psychological. It can feel very damaging, but when you're on the other side of it, it's almost like, oh, I can understand. But I think with him, it's a hard one. To be accused of rape and, you know, abuse and all of this stuff, like...
That's very true. It's going to be very hard.
That's a tough one.
It's going to be very hard. And with rape, I guess it's more about power. Now this is, maybe he felt powerful. Yeah. Now he's feeling powerless.
You say this because all of this happened during this peak of his career. So he must have felt all of this power and all of this success and control or whatever. And now, but anyways,
but apparently it's been known that he's been doing this. You know how the media works, how that industry, they know everything.
It's been known.
It's been known.
But now, because he is probably because he's quite controversial, so he shies away from the bog standard way of, I don't know, say for example with the COVID stuff, that was his topic, like don't get the COVID vaccine. Well, that goes against what the BBC, for example, are promoting. Get the vaccine.
Right, so they had stuff on him from time. He's saying the wrong things and they're unleashing it. It's like all the MPs, they probably got stuff on certain people. They say, no, you vote this way. And they're like, no, I'm going to do this. And they show him sign a picture that they're with someone that they shouldn't be. And then they vote it, they have to vote. You know, that's how it works in that kind of media, kind of politics industry. And he's messing with a lot of people's money here
so true.
And in the, you know, abroad as well, in America.
Yeah.
Because, you know, where the vaccine, different things are coming in from different places. So, you know, they're trying to make one story to get the vaccine, and he's a popular public figure. And now they're saying, okay, you want to say this? Let's get you. And they're waiting for their time.
We're getting you out. It's true. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. And he's also got a opposite Mars going on too. So oppositions are really challenging aspects, by the way. So if you find yourself having a Pluto, a planet like Mars or Pluto opposing one of your more sensitive planets or personal planets like Moon or Sun, it can be challenging. But in this case, he's definitely, you know, experiencing some anger and frustration coming from all sorts of directions. So we need to watch where this story is going.
Definitely. You said he's Pluto
opposing
his Mars.
Venus, and he's also having a Mars opposition. So Mars opposing his Mars.
Okay, Mars opposing his Mars. Okay,
yeah,
so I'll say Pluto Mars is often an indication of rape.
Yeah, facts, factual. So, are we done with the Mercury stuff?
We're done with the Mercury stuff.
We can now rest easy on that and move forwards. Mercury retrograde, you've been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
But until next time.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we move on to the autumn equinox. I just want to say, first of all, obviously, happy birthday, Libras. But shout out to Kieran. His birthday.
Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki. His birthday's on the 16th. This is my son. His birthday's on the 16th of October. He's going to be 16 on the 16th.
Wow.
So that's going to be awesome. But shout out to all Libras out there.
Happy birthday, Kieran. And happy birthday to all Libras as well.
Yay.
And Israel's a Libra, right? So we have to give a shout out to our teacher, Israel. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Israel, our teacher for lifey. Hope you have a good one. When is it? On the 4th or the 5th?
Yeah, of October. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's soon. So, the autumn equinox, we just had it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? We mentioned it in the last podcast.
We did. And I guess I wanted to for me, I wanted to talk about the autumn.
Yeah.
And the change in the season.
Yeah.
And how we feel about how we connect with that. You know, the energies, the vibration of, you know, what's going on outside, because the season does affect us, whether we take time to feel it or not. But there's a change because the nature's changing. So there's a change. I guess it's kind of mirroring us and saying there's a change that we should do for ourselves as well. You know, with the fall. And I was looking at spring, obviously spring, summer, fall, winter. Those are the seasons. But originally, autumn was called harvest. In the UK, then it was fall, and they used the word autumn. And apparently in like 1600s, the Americans took the fall and we took the autumn, although people do say fall here as well, but that's more of an American thing. The fall. So the fall just means
when we hear fall, we do understand what it means.
The leaves dropping.
Interesting. I didn't know that it was called harvest.
It was originally called harvest, the picking of the crops. And that's like with the Virgo season. Taking the wheat off the shaft. So so that's where that is. And so the autumn months, September, October, November, Virgo is the harvest, the grounding, the picking the wheat off the shaft. Libra is like the balance, the law and order of nature. So we can look to that to ourselves as well. How do we what kind of fruits do we eat now? Do we eat in line with what is growing? Like they say you should eat like what's growing in the country that you're living in. So that's something there to think about. And what is nature doing now? Like shedding like it's stuff. So this is a time where we can just think about is there things that we need to let go of and shed. So balance, order of nature, connection, and like honoring. And then there's Scorpio. So Scorpio is definitely the letting go, the passion and the intensity and breaking of boundaries. Because I guess the leaves taking the sunlight, it goes into the oxygen, the air that we breathe. Then it falls into the earth and nourishes that in another way. So it's just connecting, sharing, just and the tree doesn't always lets go of itself. And then, you know, like when there's when there's trees and when there's no leaves at all, it looks different.
It does.
Especially when they cut the sticks off they go around and cut it just looks different. It just looks different, and you see the sky more. So there's that. And Sagittarius, so it's the philosophical, the deep, being able to see the bigger picture. So being able to see yourself, like how do you experience the earth? Because we all experience it differently. So, and then also how do people experience us? Because you might think you're one way, and then someone say, no, you're like this. And then you might have another friend that says you're like this, you're thinking her. But different people, you're going to vibrate with different people differently. They're going to just accept you differently. And then that's just how it is. And it's not like, this person must be hating because they say like that, but no, your star signs may they're different, so people just see you in a different light. And I was looking at Carl Rogers, because he has something called locus of evaluation, which is part of person-centered, and it's to which people refer in order to make judgments about themselves and others in the world. So that's what locus of evaluation is. It's us making a judgment about people and people making judgments about us based on their experience of us. And two people can have the same experience and take it on to so much differently. So there's that
locus of evaluation.
And the autumn season, as we know, the daylight grows shorter, the animals prepare for the long cold months ahead. The autumn months are the time of the harvest season. The temperature starts becoming cooler, but the temperature is absolutely fabulous right now.
It's gorgeous.
And during autumn, leaves on the trees will turn yellow, orange, red, brown during autumn. And it's a time of harvest, expressing gratitude as well for the abundance in your life. And that's very important to always remember what you have. And also with autumn, when I looked at autumn, I was like, it reminds me, is this a god called Atum? Atum? A-T-U-M. I was like, hold on, Egyptian god, it's me, hold on.
You're right.
Yeah, so I looked at that, and his name is thought to be derived from the verb which means to complete or to finish, and has been interpreted as being the complete one and also the finisher of the world. So I thought, I guess autumn is for the trees and the harvest. It's been completed, and the crops have been picked. So there's a completion there. It's not the end, but there's a
it's
completion.
Not the end.
It's not the end, but there's a completion there. But it didn't say that's where the name autumn came from. I'm thinking, I'm sure
that there's a connection.
I'm sure there's a connection, but I didn't find it. But I just quickly wanted to go through the chakras, because the leaves and the colors. So green is the heart chakra. Love, compassion, acceptance. It's air. It's at the center of your chest. You feel your most intense emotions there. You need to balance your emotions, recognize and dealing with what you feel. So you need to be able to feel, what do you feel? Happy, joy, love, anger. And even if you feel anger, it's about how you deal with that anger. So it's about transmutation. So how do you use anger? When you feel it, how do you use it to enhance your life? Not necessarily hitting out at someone, but just using that energy to do something else. Maybe the housework.
Yeah, that's what I do when I'm angry.
Yeah.
A housework.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then yellow, solar plexus. So it's spiritual awareness, strength, power, fire, that is based at the upper abdomen, above the navel, belly button. It's healing, connection to the mother, because the umbilical cord is where you get where your baby gets nutrients from. And also they say, like, if you put some oils there, like castor oil or something, it actually is very good to put it in there, so it nourishes where it needs to nourish. I can't remember what you can put coconut oil, castor oil, olive oil, and it helps with the skin. It helps with the skin and stuff. And so those were the colors on the leaves. And what else? And there was red as well. So there's orange, sorry. So it's a sacral, sexuality, sensuality, pleasure, and that's water. That's to do with water. It's lower abdomen, just above the pubic bone. It's crucial to keep your sacral chakra balanced in order to live a life that is healthy, both physically and mentally. So it's about balance and being creative and receiving pleasure. And red for the roots. So leaves also have a red color to it. So red is the root chakra. It's related to the earth. This chakra is to provide you with the emotional basics that you need to survive. And when I thought of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So the physiological needs, basic needs such as shelter, food, and clothing. So the root chakra allows you to feel secure in knowing who you are. And also the root chakra can also be brown. So leaves do go brown as well. And that's to do with grounding, resilience, dependability, and security. So I thought
that's
how much do we trust and value our view of ourselves? How much do we trust and value others' views of us? And this is a time when people might start to feel down, when the days get shorter. And there's that seasonal affective disorder called SAD, SAD. It's called seasonal affective disorder. That's what it stands for. And it's a type of depression that has a seasonal pattern. And I thought, I'd like to definitely look at next time winter blues, because we're getting there and it's getting darker, and it's time that we stay in more. And how people and maybe handle that.
Maybe we should compare it to like maybe 10 years ago when we didn't have 10 years ago maybe we didn't have an inflation, because our winters are deeply depressing. Last year was depressing because of the inflation and recession that we're not quite in, or we're in. I have no idea. I'm confused.
Exactly.
But this year's going to be the same.
Exactly.
Nothing's
and we've
changed.
had that COVID period which has affected so many people in different ways. So they're still coping with that. And I guess with the winter months you're more locked in. Maybe that could be very triggering for them. So it's good, something for us to think about.
Listen, I'm never going to see leaves the same way again. That was awesome.
A connection.
That was so awesome. So creative. Like, seriously, I totally visualized that. Now I've got a new appreciation for leaves. Like, I do, because the leaves come in all shapes and sizes and colors and whatever. So now I'm going to see them with so much meaning. I guess.
Exactly.
But one thing I did want to say about the autumn month is it's also, because you said earlier, that it's a time of completion, but we're not quite at the end. And for me, that's the bit where it's reflective. It's a reflective period during the autumn. I mean, it does feel like we're always having to reflect, but we can reflect whilst moving forward if we're not in the retrograde.
Exactly.
But it's about going inward, and that's why when it's cold, we are much more inside, and the colder it gets, the more isolated we might feel or be.
Exactly, and it starts like around the Libra time. It's Libra's about friendship, so it's good to ask people like how do they feel, which is quite hard. Check in, but it's a good way to check in, not just your own self, but from other people as well that you trust.
Yeah, exactly. Now you mentioned Libra, so I want to just tap into Libra as we then slowly go into the transits, and then I don't know, I think we close after that. But the Libra season that we're in now, we know that Venus rules Libra. Venus is Libra's an air sign, and so the sun being in Libra, the focus is around the mind and the intellect and communication. But this is where people need people. We need to socialize, and we need to kind of connect. In terms of through communication and finding compromises where we can, and together maybe appreciate beauty and aesthetics and our surroundings and love, and decision making becomes much more about weighing the pros and cons of situations or whatever the case may be. But anyways, this is an energy that encourages, when the sun is in Libra, this energy encourages refining social skills and understanding the different perspectives. You mentioned earlier, one person might have a view that's totally different from the next, and they have the same experience. So this is about really understanding different perspectives, because we all have different ways of thinking about things, and fostering a sense of unity. So still coming together, because at the end of the day, that's what Libra is about. It wants peace and balance and equilibrium. So we might have different perspectives, but how can we come together and be unified in that? It's a period that invites us to appreciate the art of connection, and finding a delicate equilibrium in our lives. So the sun is in full in Libra, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's negative. It just means that it's not, because the sun does really well in Leo. Leo is the sun, that he rules Leo, and that's all about the ego and the individual, and really coming out and being self-expressive. But when the sun is in Libra, it's more about the relationship and the other and the need for balance.
But exactly, there's not this let me shine out in front of everyone. It's more of like, take a balance, and I guess the sun doesn't like that.
It doesn't, exactly. But he has to abide by the Libra energy. So this is where we become much more diplomatic and cooperative, I guess. But how do we foster, and I think we tapped on it last time, but how do we foster balance in our lives? And a few of the things that I thought of was because I don't have planets in Libra, so I can't say it's a natural inclination. I know you've got Mars in Libra, isn't it?
Yeah, Mars and Pluto.
Mars and Pluto in Libra. Okay, but for me, I have to think about this stuff. So I think one of the things that's really important is obviously balancing work and play. So working hard, but then also playing hard. We hear that saying a lot, work hard, play hard, whatever. So balancing that, but also creating boundaries, like being clearly able to communicate your limits to other people. You said it's important I remember on last podcast, it's important for us to be clear with our boundaries and to voice them and to learn to decline, commitments or whatnot. And I have been doing that so far, Not only have I been declining because it's just too much, but also I've been saving money.
There you go.
I've been saving money.
There you go.
Yeah, by saying no. Another way to foster balance is to connect. So plan regular social interactions where you can, and don't completely shy away, actually be with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend time with your friends and your family, and doing community activities. And adapt. So embrace any changes that might come your way. Have a flexible mindset, and adjust to plans when unexpected challenges arise. Be mindful, so practice mindfulness through techniques like deep breathing or meditation, the drill. But also be reflective. So whilst you're doing all of this action, take time to, take time to introspect as well, and journal and share your experiences, and go back and forth with someone about your ideas, and whatever it is that's been on your mind, or your experiences. Like, reflect and assess your life direction and goals. So those were my kind of little tips and tools around fostering balance and being with the Libra energy. But yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add to that, but balancing life is an ongoing journey, so it's not something we do overnight.
Exactly.
And finding what works best for you requires a bit of experimentation and self-discovery. So don't feel like you have to have these fixed techniques to make balance work for you. It's all throughout your life.
And it takes time, just one step at a time. Slowly do things that benefit you only as well, especially if you're always doing things for other people. Just remember yourself.
Exactly. So before we go into transits, did you want to say anything else maybe that I've missed, or shall I go ahead?
I got a little thing. We got a few October updates on Friday 13th. And Halloween's coming up. But what should I do that, or do you want to end with transits? What do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna give my voice a bit of a break.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is just like a little update, like what's happening in October, and a quick little thing on this Friday 13th coming up.
Yeah.
So clocks go back on the 29th of October, so it's the last Sunday of the month. So I believe that's the 29th. So yeah, it's going to the dark period again.
This is where it gets depressing.
It does. It's World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October, which is something we always try and think about our mental health, and talking about balance is part of your mental health. So World Smile Day on the 6th of October. So you guys, you need to check out our podcast, our Instagram, AstroLOVE_pods, and we'll have a picture of our smile.
Yeah.
So if you want to see it, please check out our Instagram, AstroLOVE_pod. So, and tag us in your smiley pictures for World Smile Day on the 6th of October.
That's excellent.
Clocks go back in the summer. Yeah. And Friday the 13th is coming up. And listen, that day, I remember when I was at school, I fell over that day. I never forget that. And I thought, that's truly a bad luck day. People were laughing. I was at school, my friends were laughing, people that I didn't know were laughing. I got up, ran for the bus, my knee was hurting me, and I thought, But as I've grown and I've learnt about energies and I've learnt about spirituality and stuff, I know it's a good luck day. But in the
you're gonna mess up people's minds now.
No, the UK, it's known as like not a good day.
Not a good omen.
No, it's not a good omen. But the number 13 is actually a karmic number.
Yeah.
So karma means action. So it could be good or bad. So it's basically what you've done previously has come back. So if you've been really wicked, I don't know, to someone.
Yeah, damaging.
The Friday the 13th could be a time when you receive your karma. But then if you've been really, really good, or you've done something really positive, I don't know, Friday the 13th when you receive your karma, but it will be something good. Something nice, something that you enjoy. So it's not necessarily meaning something bad. So I think we need to just, when people say, that's karma, well, you could say that when something good happens, so that's your karma. Like, it's not always bad.
Yeah? I've got to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And 13 in numerology, intuition. It's like a cycle of ending and new beginnings. It's a divine feminine energy and wisdom. So I guess if we're looking at it as something bad, we're denying that feminine energy, that cycle of ending and beginning. We're not giving that energy opportunity to be in our lives if we're shying away from it and actually fear. So it generally relates to building a foundation of security for the future. Once determined, it pursues the goal with diligence, and it's also about achieving your goals. It's the belief that Friday 13th is an unlucky number, and it's a day where one of the most widely known superstitions in Britain today. And why is 13 considered very unlucky? And the superstition surrounds Friday the 13th is a combination of two separate fears. So it's the fear of the number 13, called, actually, this is a medical thing, and it's called triskaidekaphobia. So if you're scared of 13, you've got triskaidekaphobia. Yeah,
that's some long
and
name.
it's about extreme superstition and regarding number 13. That's what it's about.
So this is real.
This is real. We got a fear of a number because we don't know why we're fearing this number. But in so 13, your angels want you to follow your dreams. If you're in fear, you ain't following your dreams. You're scared. You're in your house. People run in their house, shut the door. Okay, I'm not going to go out this day. But this is the time you should be following your dreams. This is one of the most powerful times for you to do that. And if you're in fear, you're not actually going to be doing that. So the number 13 is actually a very lucky number. In fact, in India, the 13th day of the lunar fortnight is known to be a highly auspicious and is called Tridodashi. It belongs to the Lord Shiva and is said to bestow long life, peace and good fortune on us. So that's another way that you could actually look at it. So yeah, 13 is your angels. This is one of the most powerful messages sent from above to encourage you to clear out negative energy, be open to opportunity, and to let spiritual energy lead you to what you want. So I did look at Friday the 13th, the movie, because in the UK that's notorious with that movie.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, that Jason Voorhees, he never dies.
He never
dies. He always comes back. So I said, why do they call him Jason? So I sounded that name and I went, Sun. And I went, Sun. Ja's son. I said, hold on, Rastafari. Yeah. That means God. That's God's son. I said, no, it can't mean that. I looked it up. It means healer. The Lord is salvation with in Hebrew, with Hebrew origins. Jason is a boy's name meaning healer, and the Lord is salvation. Jason is an incredibly popular name throughout the world and is used in many different cultures, and it is actually means God, Yahweh. It's related to the name Yahweh, which is God's name, and Jason actually is that. And when I looked, and I thought,
love you for that.
You know, like I think some of these things come to you, don't even think, you just think Jason Voorhees, like that man don't die, but actually this is what Jason actually means. So
wow, that is deep.
That is what, and
it's funny how they put that. Yeah, but that makes sense because the God energy doesn't die. Mm-hmm. But it's just interesting how he's the baddie. But he represents two entities. Yeah. Through his name and through his actions.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So the yin and yang. So yeah, there's that.
That's deep.
Yeah. So
I love it. This is why we do the Astro Love podcast.
It is because we're able to share some of the crazy things that we
find.
And sometimes things just come to you. And obviously Halloween. I'm just going to mention that Halloween. I'm not going to say much about Halloween. Yeah. It's on the 31st. Yeah. And I'll leave it at that because time's going and but Halloween, the traditional, there is some things about that. Maybe I'll mention it another time.
We should though, because we can embrace, because it is quite symbolic. We'll talk about it.
Talk about it at a different time.
But that was deep though. That was deep. Okay, so we'll talk about now the transits. I've got a few transits for us to bear in mind for October. And then we're going to close. So we know that it's the sun in Libra now. So we spoke about that already. October the 9th. So that marks the day when Venus moves into your sign of Virgo. Where love becomes much more about practical and detailed orientated stuff. As opposed to where it is now. Where she's in Leo. It's about fun and being chauvinistic and there's ego involved and whatnot, but this is changing the tone. Venus will change the tone around how we express affection and how we deal with relationships and stuff. So people will show more affection around being helpful and paying attention to details. The little details will really matter whilst Venus is in Virgo. Relationships will focus on shared activities that contribute to the well-being. So Virgo is very much about health and well-being, so that'll be interesting. I'm quite kind of looking forward to this actually, because I need a boost for to take care of myself. I thought that Mercury in retrograde will do it, but what it did was get me thinking. There wasn't much action. There's also going to be a more careful and more discerning approach to beauty and preference to. Well, we're probably going to have more preference to the simple way of life, and spending more time doing practical stuff and being selective around who we spend our time with and who we maintain relationships with, and really valuing reliability and the practical aspects of life. So that's going to be cool. On October the 11th, this to me is huge because Pluto ends his retrograde phase. He's gone back and forth for years. And this is going to be his last retrograde phase. So he comes out, well, this is his last. He comes out of retrograde on the 11th of October. So this is going to be great because cardinal signs are going to be free. Yeah. So that includes Cancer risings and Cancer suns, and I'm a Cancer rising, Aries suns and Aries rising, Capricorn suns and Capricorn risings, and Libra suns and Libra risings, especially those with like with later degrees. Anyways, I'm not going to go into that. My point is, hallelujah, amen, amen, thank God, thank God, because
I've got it in my first house.
Have you got it?
Pluto of Capricorn rising, so it's going to move into my second house. Aquarius.
Aquarius. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Interesting. You know why? Because he moves then into my 8th house.
Oh, my second, your 8th. Hey, high five.
Hey, resources, shared resources. So he moves into Aquarius on the 21st of January, so early next year. So meanwhile, Pluto will be moving forward, but we won't have to keep readdress. This is the last bit now. So whatever you were learning from and stripping from, and I don't know, going through really tough, perhaps challenges, it should be coming to an end. It's the last bit. You're dusting the last bits off your shoulders, hopefully. And then Mars enters Scorpio on October the 12th. So right now he's in Libra. So when he enters Scorpio, actions and desires become much more intense and passionate. Mars actually rules Scorpio, so he's going to be at home, whereas he's in full in Libra, so he doesn't do too well there. But in Mars, we are going to feel it. Like there's no avoiding it.
We're going to feel that. We're going to feel that energy for sure.
We will. People will become much more determined and much more focused on their goals, and we're going to be approaching challenges with careful planning, but emotions are going to be stronger. They're going to be deeper and much more connected to feeling and just deep. And I don't handle Scorpio energy very well. I like Scorpio, and I appreciate it, but I don't know. I'm hoping
you're a water sign though.
I'm a water sign.
It might be too much deepness.
It's too much.
I can kind of handle the Scorpio. Maybe not every day, but as an earth sign, I can kind of handle some of that water. But obviously, too much water in the earth, nothing really. It floods. The seas, it won't grow. So there's some.
You can take it in some capacity. But for me, I think I don't know. I'm Pisces, man. So sometimes that's what I mean. I appreciate my Scorpio buddies, but sometimes when it's every day, I don't know.
Getting too deep into the unknown. And the further you go down, the more you can't breathe. You're gonna combust, isn't it? When you go down into the ocean,
and I combust.
So therefore, I can totally understand that when you've got your own stuff going on, it's like adding someone else's watery stuff onto you. It's too much.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, this transit can very often enhance passion in romance. So if you're lacking in that area, that should be helpful and bring, really liven up your relationships, and bring a willingness to face challenges directly. Like there's no avoiding issues with Mars and Scorpio. He just wants to deal with it ASAP, and that's it. But this is really good for helping people to bounce back from their setbacks and bring that intensity, that energy, that sense of commitment to what it is that you're passionate about. So great things that can come out of Mars in Scorpio, and he's going to be in that sign for like 6 to 8 weeks, but I don't know exactly how long. And then we've got 2 eclipses that we'll probably talk about in our next podcast, more in depth. But we've got the Libra new moon with a solar eclipse on the 14th, and that's at 21 degrees of Libra. bang on Kieran's sun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
And when's his birthday?
That.
His birthday's a couple of days after.
Yeah. Bang on. So he's 22 degrees of Libra, and this is 21. So I'm going to definitely observe that, and I've been trying to see if there's been any kind of signs, because with eclipses, you kind of see the signs way before the actual event, isn't it? But so far, I mean, it's a new moon, so it's going to be much more gentle than a full moon eclipse. But so far, I don't know. It's in his 12th house. Okay. So, yeah. But anyways, I'll get back to you on that. But this is where the usual flow of energy is disrupted, because it is an eclipse and it'll create a sense of transformation in some way. But it will be a time to set up new intentions and embrace fresh starts. This is about new beginnings, but the new beginnings are going to be probably much more drastic than your standard new moon kind of experience. There'll be no escaping the change that may take place in your life. But yeah, so that's going to be on the 14th in Libra. And then we've got a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus on October the 28th at 5 degrees of Taurus. And this is where, because it's a full moon and it's an eclipse, it's a time of heightened energy, emotions, and an ending. So this will be about releasing old patterns and letting go of what no longer serves you. But also this is going to be particularly emotionally intense, because it's very deeply healing. It's very deeply transformative, because it's an eclipse. So we can't really play with eclipses. There's no kind of like control over what takes place. It just happens, because eclipses are like segues to change. What's a better way of kind of explaining that? It's like they what's the word I'm looking for? I'm getting tired. But like, they are the catalysts of change. And you may think that your life is going one way and this is the way you want it to be and this is the way it will stay. But if you don't make voluntary changes, and even though your life has become like stagnant, for example, then the universe will do it for you, and it tends to come through eclipses. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. And on that note, did you want to add anything?
No, I'm just gonna say, my node in Taurus is gonna get hit by that clip.
Oh,
by that clip.
No, literally the clip. You're gonna get clipped.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh, my thing in Taurus. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that kind of shut me up a bit. Let me look at that again.
Yeah. Okay, so you learned something today as well. Okay, well I learned loads today. So
yeah, so did I. Yeah, I appreciate you too.
And we hope that you kind of like you stay tuned, that you enjoyed it, and you had your notepad as well, because this is cosmic news, so really important that you take notes and just let us know how you get on. But yeah, on that note, people, this is the Astro Love podcast. Please do follow us on our social platforms.
Like and share
our
YouTube channel. So, all of that
subscribe
stuff.
And all of that good stuff. And then I'm Astro Queen,
and I'm Angel Love.
Peace out, people.
Peace.